Hi, dear friends, welcome to HeartBook Audio, a channel for sharing knowledge and comprehensive self-development through good books. There is a saying like this: the concept of money will determine your destiny, whether you are rich or poor. So what is your concept of money? Is it correct or not? The psychology book The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel gives us a perspective that goes against our existing views on money. It reminds us to avoid wrong thoughts about money. It helps us greatly improve our investment ability as well as our personal financial development. Hopefully, the content of the book that I want to convey through today's video can help you on your path to financial management and development. At the beginning of the book, the author introduced a story about an American philanthropist named Ronald Read. He lived in a suburb and lived a simple life at the age of 92. It all sounds very normal until one learns that his net worth is $8 million. Before he passed away, he prepared a will and used most of his assets for charity. People were extremely curious as to how he had such a large fortune or if there was a dark secret behind it. But through investigation, there is no secret at all. He also did not win the lottery, nor did he do anything illegal, nor did he inherit any property. The only thing he did was constantly accumulate the money he earned and use it for long-term investments. Another person named Richard Fuscone is also a Master of Business Administration graduate from Harvard University. After graduating, he became a senior manager and was very successful in the financial industry. At only 40 years old, he can retire early. But after retiring for a few years, he borrowed a huge amount of money from the bank to rebuild his villa. The villa is expanded with many amenities and luxurious furniture, more bathrooms, and 2 large swimming pools. This villa is also his entertainment and party venue. Just the monthly maintenance fee alone is up to $90,000. Not only that, he lives very lavishly and often spends a lot of money to organize parties and entertainment. Not long after that, in 2008, the financial crisis erupted. A large number of his assets evaporated, combined with large debts from banks and low liquidity assets, causing him to immediately go bankrupt. Through these two stories, we see that saving money and accumulating assets is the way to keep money moving positively. No matter how much wealth you create, but engrossed in chasing after material life, it may never be enough, and there will be no end in sight forever. Now, through the book, I would like to share with you 4 concepts about money that we should know as soon as possible. First concept: we are never satisfied with the assets we already have. The book mentions a story like this. In 1920, Jesse Livermore became an extremely successful stock trader in the industry. He quickly became one of the richest men in America. This made him more and more confident, and he still wanted to succeed more. That's why he borrowed a huge amount of money to invest in the stock market. But because of wrong judgment and calculation, in an instant, he lost all the money he had. He fell into debt and eventually went bankrupt. At the same time, his married life also had many problems. The wife has left. 2 crises that came at the same time caused him to end his life in his own home. Another story is that Rajat Gupta has a huge fortune of about $1 billion. But for Rajat, he always wanted to get richer to enter the billionaire world. That's why he had bad intentions, to use inside information to make profits in the stock market. But in the end, he was exposed and sentenced to 2 years in prison. In an instant, both reputations and careers were ruined. The human desire for material money never stops. Once we get something, we always want more. Our greed is bottomless. This is human nature. In other words, it is also a part that gives us motivation to develop financially. But if you use your daily nature to manage and make money, irrational behavior will arise, which leads to bad outcomes. Besides, social comparison is also a catalyst that makes many people feel unsatisfied. There will always be someone richer than you, make more money than you, have a bigger house than you. The car is more beautiful than yours. But the truth is that when you own these materials, you will feel like they don't mean much. Which also doesn't make you feel happy in this life. We have spent a lot of time striving to have a higher income source. Better quality of life. But we have to know that to a certain extent. Knowing enough is a phrase that everyone has heard a lot of times. But to really apply it in life, not everyone can do it. So what do we need to do? Please remember the following 4 things. The first thing is that. Reduce comparing yourself with others. Stop comparing what you have with what others have. The second thing is to lessen the chase for trends. The third thing is not to care too much about what other people think about you. And the last thing is to appreciate what you already have. With these 4 things, we will discover that we will easily receive happiness. Second concept, there is no need to spend money to gain the respect of others. The author presents a psychological phenomenon as follows. When walking on the road, you see a very beautiful, very expensive car. At this time, if you often observe your inner self a little closely, you will discover that. Most of us would not think of a driver as a rich, successful person. But would think that if one day I also had a car like this, everyone would think I was a very successful person. Here is one thing you must pay attention to: people often want to prove that they are successful through external material things. But in fact, other people often do not pay attention to the owner of that material. But in their eyes, they only pay attention to the material things that person owns. So wanting to gain other people's respect through material things is a completely wrong thing. Many times, you want a nice house, a car, or an expensive item. Your true inner thoughts are that you want them to gain respect and admiring glances from others. If you have desires and thoughts like these, stop. And ask yourself what your real thoughts are. We will never gain the respect of others through external material things. If you want to receive respect from others, learn to be humble and empathize with everyone around you. Third concept. Real wealth is what we cannot see. The author shares a story from his youth like this. I don't know what Roger does for a living, but when he was young, he owned a Mercedes, so the author felt a little admiration in his heart. But after a while, I saw him driving a Honda. When I asked him, I found out that he had not been able to pay the installments for several months, so the bank foreclosed on his car and took it away. This makes the author completely change his perspective on him. And have deep thoughts about money. There are a lot of people like that in America. Most people often judge the financial success of others based on what their eyes see. Luxury houses, cars, and lavish images on social networks. But these do not represent one's wealth. When we see a person driving a $100,000 car, it means we have to understand that their account is $100,000 less. Or they are saddled with a debt of $100,000 to pay for that car. We cannot know how many bank accounts they have. Or how much money they use to invest. Having money is different from having wealth. Having money refers to the amount of income each month, while having wealth refers to how much money in assets you actually retain. If a person has a car with $100,000 in installments, it proves that they have money. Each month, they must also have enough income to pay that installment amount. But for those who have wealth, we will not know how much wealth or how much money they actually have. Their money will often be used for things like investing or doing business, so that money constantly generates money. This is a blind spot that will cause misconceptions among many people. We cannot see other people's assets, so we will judge financial success based on a person's external material things. But humans are very good at imitating. Other people's overspending behaviors will secretly become something for you to imitate. And you gradually think that successful people should own such items. You must know that in the world, the truly wealthy people are the ones who live very minimalist lives. As for those who look flashy on the outside but, in reality, are about to default or go bankrupt. So if your goal is to strive to become the person you see, live a rich and luxurious life with a flashy appearance, then you should stop and reflect immediately. The author said a very nice sentence like this. Most people want to have $1 million in assets, but deep down, they want to spend $1 million. And has a simple money philosophy. We need to understand that spending money to show off that we have a lot of money is the fastest way to make ourselves run out of money. Be rational when managing and using your own money. Fourth concept, wealth gives us freedom. Consumers often say that if you have a lot of money, you can't take it with you when you die. So saving money doesn't make any sense. This book advises us on that. We should change to a different mindset to look at this problem. Besides material things, freedom is what gives us the greatest interest. Which means freedom gives us the power to control our own lives and time. A study from the University of Michigan proves that the more choices people have, the easier it is to be happy. When you have the choice to arrange time with the person you like, go do the jobs you want. It will bring more happiness than buying a big house or climbing to a high position in the company. Accumulating money means accumulating money little by little to a level that helps you become more independent and financially independent. Change your thinking a little. Money you haven't used yet doesn't mean it's meaningless. Which gives you many choices in life. More flexibility in time. For example, you have accumulated money for living expenses within 1 year. You have the right to be flexible about time during a year. You will have plenty of time to really understand yourself and find a job that is right for you, rather than doing a job that makes you frustrated all day long. The more money you accumulate, the more choices you will have. You can choose to do jobs that don't pay very well. But the job doesn't require you to work overtime or take a lot of time. In your free time, you can do what you love. Implement things according to your own development plan. Use your money to buy time and make choices in your own life. Because very few luxury items can bring a truly happy and free life. Our lives are much richer than those of our grandparents. But according to research, up to 45% of people are unhappy and feel pressured. The author points out that the main reason is because many of us just want to spend money to buy more expensive things. But that also means we have to give up the right to control time. For example, a person pays in installments for an item beyond his ability to pay. Means that during the installment period, he will bind himself to a certain job. He was forced to earn money to be able to pay for the item in installments. So this person has not yet paid off all the bank debt. There will be no time to choose another life experience. In the book, the author really liked it and recommended another book to us, 30 Lessons for Living. The book interviewed 1,000 elderly people with both personal and professional experiences. To summarize what the philosophy of life is. No one says that if you live happily, you have to work hard to earn money to buy the things you want. No one says you have to strive at least as hard as those around you. Or must have more money to be considered successful. No one said that if you have a lot of money, you will be happy. One thing they care about is being able to reunite with friends. Becoming a member brings some value to the group. And have time to spend with family. Finally, the author shared, after many years, his income increased a lot. But the way of life remains unchanged. The author, his wife, and their children have a very ordinary house. Have a normal car. Simple t-shirts. And the family dishes are delicious. Most of life's joys come from running, reading, and listening to podcasts. These pleasures don't have to cost a lot of money. Maybe this way of life is not suitable for many people. But we should find for ourselves a way of living where, in addition to material things, we can still find satisfaction in the soul. Like in this book, there is a saying. A real success is retreating from endless competition. Adjust your life. and have a peaceful soul. Above is what I want to share with you in the hope that today's video will give you some insight into your concept of money. Thank you for listening. If you feel this video is useful, please share it with those who need it. Give me a like, press the subscribe, and turn on the bell. Notice to watch the latest videos every week again. Thank you, and see you in the next videos.